Okay, it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and you can feel it coming. Your eyelids start getting heavy, the screen in front of you stops making sense. You read the same sentence 3 times and still have no idea what it said. Your head feels like it's full of warm cotton, so you do what everyone does. You reach for coffee or something sugary, or you just grit your teeth and power through it, because napping in the middle of the day? That's for toddlers and lazy people, right? Well, here's the thing nobody actually tells you. That crash you fight every single afternoon, that heavy, foggy, can't keep my eyes open feeling, it is not a flaw. It's not because you're weak, it's not because you didn't sleep enough, and despite what everyone believes, it's not because of what you ate for lunch. It's a built-in biological program, something your body runs on purpose, on a schedule, every single day. And for almost all of human history, people didn't fight it at all. They just stopped, they rested, and then they got up and finished their day. Perfectly happily. So what happened to us? How did the most natural thing in the world, something humans did for thousands of years, turn into something we're actually ashamed of? Stick around, because once you see how this got flipped on its head, you're going to look at your 3 p.m. coffee very differently. Let's start by killing the biggest myth of all, the lunch myth. You've definitely heard this one. The afternoon slump happens because of lunch, right? The food coma. Your body sends all its blood down to your stomach to digest that big sandwich, leaves none for your brain, and boom, you get sleepy. It sounds completely obvious. It feels true. We've all blamed a heavy meal for that 2 p.m. nod off. There's just one problem. It's basically wrong. And we know it's wrong because scientists actually tested it. They took people and they watched for the afternoon dip, but this time, no lunch. The subjects skipped the meal entirely. No sandwich, no big plate, nothing for the body to divert blood to. And guess what happened? The crash showed up anyway, right on schedule. Same time of day, same heavy eyelids, same foggy brain, with zero food involved. So the sandwich? Genuinely innocent. It's been taking the blame for something it didn't do. So if it's not lunch, what is it? Okay, picture this. Your body runs on an internal clock. You've probably heard of it, the circadian rhythm. It's this roughly 24-hour cycle that controls when you feel awake and when you feel sleepy. Most people think that clock has just one low point, the middle of the night, when you're fast asleep. But it doesn't have one dip, it has two. There's the big one, deep in the small hours of the morning, around 3 or 4 a.m., when you're out cold. And then there's a second one, smaller but absolutely real, hitting in the early afternoon, somewhere between roughly 1 and 4 p.m. Your body's alertness just dips, on purpose. It's wired in. It happens whether or not you ate, whether or not you slept well the night before. Your body is literally built to wind down in the middle of the day. Now, does a giant lunch make it worse? Sure, a little. Pile a heavy meal on top of that natural dip and you can deepen the trough, make the crash feel heavier. But, and this is the key, the food didn't cause it. The dip was always coming. It was scheduled. Your biology booked that appointment long before you decided what to have for lunch. And here's the beautiful part. For almost all of human history, people just went with it. They felt the dip and they listened to it. This wasn't some weird regional quirk either. This was everywhere, across enormous stretches of the world, all around the Mediterranean, throughout Latin America, across parts of Asia, parts of Africa. The entire shape of the day was built around a pause in the middle. The rhythm went like this. You work in the cool of the morning when you're sharp and the air is fresh. Then you eat. Then, through the hottest, sleepiest, most miserable part of the afternoon, you rest. You step out of the day entirely, and then, when the worst of the heat breaks and your energy comes back, you return and work again, often well into the evening. We mostly know this by its Spanish name, the siesta. In Spain it was so woven into life that shops would literally close in the afternoon, shutters down, streets quiet, the whole town pausing together before coming back to life later. But Spain was far from alone. Versions of this existed almost everywhere humans dealt with heat and hard work. And honestly, it was genius. Think about it. In a hot climate, the early afternoon is brutal. It's the worst possible time to be out swinging a tool or working a field under a blazing sun. So why on earth would you fight both the heat and your own biology at the same time? It's a losing battle. Far smarter to step out of those terrible hours completely. Let your body do the winding down it's already trying to do. Recharge. And save your real energy for when the world cools off and you can actually be productive again. That's not laziness. That's not people being soft. That is one of the smartest daily schedules human beings ever invented, perfectly tuned to the climate around them and the clock ticking inside them. They built their day around how humans actually work. Imagine that. So if the midday rest was so sensible, so natural, so universal, what killed it? What happened? Same villain as always, honestly. The factory. When the Industrial Revolution rolled in, it brought a completely new way of thinking about a human being. You are no longer a person, working with the rhythm of the sun and the seasons. You are now a unit of labor, measured by the hour, standing in a machine. And here's the problem. A factory does not care about your circadian rhythm, not even a little. It does not care that it's 2 p.m. and your body is begging to power down. The machines run continuously. The shift is fixed. The bell rings when the bell rings, and every worker has to be at their station, awake, alert, hands moving, producing, for the entire block of time, no exceptions. There was no pausing for the hottest part of the day anymore, no stepping out for a rest when your energy dipped. The clock on the wall decided when you stopped, not the sun, not the heat, and definitely not your own biology. And it got worse, because work moved indoors, under a roof, under artificial light, and the moment that happened, all the old reasons for the midday pause just evaporated. It didn't matter how hot it was outside anymore, you're in here. It didn't matter what your body wanted. The schedule is the schedule. The natural rhythm that had shaped human days for thousands of years became completely irrelevant to the machine. So the midday rest got redefined, quietly, but completely. The thing that had been sensible for thousands of years was suddenly inefficient. A nap stopped being rest and started being theft, time stolen from the workday, productivity leaking out of the system. And here's the really insidious part. That judgment didn't stay in the factory. It soaked into the entire culture. It became a moral thing. Napping became something only certain people did. The old, the sick, the lazy, the unproductive, the people who couldn't keep up. The single most natural thing in the world, something every human body is built to want, became a thing to be embarrassed about, to hide, to apologize for. But here's the part the factory could never actually change, the part it had no power over. Your biology never updated. Nobody told your body about the new rules. That clock inside you, it's still running the exact same program it ran for your great-great-great-grandparents. It did not get the memo about the Industrial Revolution. It does not know what a shift is. So the afternoon dip still arrives, right on time, every single day. You feel it at your desk. You feel it in the meeting. Students feel it in the classroom right after lunch. It's the same ancient signal firing on schedule, exactly like it always has. The only thing that's actually changed is that now you're not allowed to answer it. That's it. The signal is identical. Your response is what's different. So instead of resting, you override it. You throw caffeine at it. You throw sugar at it. You throw sheer willpower at it. And you force yourself to push straight through the very window of time your body specifically designed for rest. Day after day after day. And we're slowly figuring out that fighting it isn't free. It has a cost. Study after study keeps landing on the same conclusion. The exact thing those old siesta cultures somehow knew in their bones. A short afternoon nap, just 15-20 minutes, nothing crazy, can sharpen your focus, lift your mood, and leave you genuinely more productive in the second half of the day than if you just white-knuckled your way through the slump with your fourth coffee. The thing we spent a century shaming as pure laziness, turns out it looks an awful lot like simple good health. So here's the thought I keep coming back to. For thousands and thousands of years, humans felt a quiet little signal their bodies sent every single afternoon, and they just listened to it. They rested. No guilt, no shame, no apology. It was simply part of being a person. And then, in a relatively tiny slice of history, we built a whole world of bells and shifts and rigid fixed hours, and we collectively decided that that ancient signal was a weakness, something to be defeated, something to override and push through and feel bad about. But here's the thing. The signal never went away. It couldn't. It's still there. Every day, right around 2 or 3 o'clock. A small, ancient, persistent little instruction your body has been faithfully sending the entire time, waiting for you to listen. So the next time that wave of tiredness rolls over you in the middle of the afternoon, maybe remember this. You're not lazy. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you at all. You're just a human being, running a program far, far older than the work schedule that's fighting it. And maybe, when you actually can, it's worth listening to. If you enjoyed having one more normal thing flipped completely upside down, you are going to love the one on why you wake up at 3 a.m. and why that's not insomnia either. Go watch that one next. And subscribe so the stick figure can keep quietly dismantling the everyday things you've never once thought to question.